Hi, Kerie. Good afternoon to you. How are you?
I am good. How are you, Nick?
I am doing great, albeit today I was a little bit in a rush. But I'd like to thank you for saying yes to be interviewed today. My name is Nicolette. I am the creator for the podcast titled You're Worthless. Read that again, the juxtaposition of your very soul. Now, if you allow me, I'd like to read a bit of your introduction first before we get into our conversation. So, hello everyone. We have Kerie Logan here with us. Kerie has helped people all over the globe live better lives and lives they love. She has been a therapist and coach for almost 25 years. Now, in 2004, she was awarded the Best Coach of the Year at the PCH Yearly Convention. She has also been voted the best hypnotherapist in her area for the past 14 consecutive years. An author, spiritual advisor, blogger, and a fellow podcaster. Wow. Welcome, Kerie.
Thank you. I know it's like, oh, it's a mouthful.
No, but then 14 years. Wow. Where do you live? Which one of these states?
I live in Oregon.
Oregon. Oh my God. I had a conversation with a friend. I don't know why I asked her. She said, which part of, I asked her, like, I just came back from the States like 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. And I asked her, like, she's always wanted to go as well. Which part of the States would you like to go the most? She said, Oregon. I'm like, oh, why?
Yeah,
It's beautiful. It's
it is.
beautiful. The synchronicities right now. So I'm gonna tell her this after our interview. So wow, okay, Oregon and 14 years. Okay, but first off, Kerie, can you share with us what was it like growing up as a Kerie Logan?
Good question. Growing up as me was, I would say, it was a bit challenging because I was the only girl and I had two brothers, biological brothers. And when my parents got divorced, then I had two stepbrothers. So I was always in the middle and they had this mentality of, well, you're a girl, you can't do this. Only guys can do this. Guys are better at this. Girls suck at this. And I kind of had the mentality of, well, let me see if I can do it. I don't have to believe what you have to, your opinion or your thoughts or your attitudes about me. And I think that really helped me learn to stand up for myself and to find my voice and to speak my truth and to not buy into the societal norm or what, people think what a woman can achieve, what a girl can achieve, what a teenager can achieve. And so it really, and I see you smiling, it pushed me to really discover me, what's going to make me happy. And I took great pride that I could change the tire. I could do a tune up on my car. I could do the timing and the points and the oil change. I remember one time taking an autocross course with my boyfriend when I was probably like 20 years old. And he was very competitive. And we went around this track and all these slaloms and stuff. Well, I got a better time than him. I got a better time than his mechanic. And it pissed him off. It did. And it's like, no, just because I'm a female does not mean that I am weak, that I am incompetent, that I am worthless, that you're better than me. That's 3D black and white thinking. No, there's a lot more to me.
Wow, you dove right in. Okay. So, okay, what is your backstory, Kerie? Like, what led you to take up hypnotherapy or your career journey or your life journey? What is your
That's a
backstory?
really interesting question. I actually did a YouTube video about it. And because I'm originally from California, the Bay Area. That's where I grew up.
Okay.
And I moved up to Oregon because I was a single mom. It was very expensive to be a single parent at the time in California. I could get so much bang for my buck up here in Oregon, financial wise. And so when I moved up here, I was kind of like how everyone is corporate America. You do this job, this and that. And when 9/11 happened and things were just tanking, just economy, everything, I ended up becoming unemployed, and I went to speak to a family friend because I was rather concerned, and she gave me a reading, and she said, "You've completed everything you need to do here. You're going to move back to California, and the perfect job is waiting for you. Your ideal job, what you're meant to do, is waiting there for you." And I said to the woman, "I can't do that. I can't afford to move back there. I don't get child support. I can't do this." And she said, "No, what you're really meant to do is there for you, and it's going to literally be handed to you."
Yeah.
And so I know it's a crazy story. And so,
Oh
like
my God,
most
I'm interested.
people, I didn't want to listen to her. I didn't want to take her guidance and advice. And I fought it until I was then almost going to become homeless. I had nowhere else to go. All my family was still down there. And so I called a family friend that was in Sacramento, and I said, "I'm going to put all my stuff in storage. Can I come stay with you? Me and my daughter. Can we stay with you?" And she said, "Yes, you can." And so that's what I did. And about a week later, I got a phone call from this gentleman saying, "I really want to interview you. Can you come to my office in an hour and a half?" And I said, "Sure." And I had like this really 3-inch fat binder of letters of recommendation, whole portfolio. So I get there, and it was Positive Changes Hypnosis. It was a hypnosis center. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I know all about hypnotherapy and meditation. I practice it. I believe in it." And the guy gave me a tour of the whole facility. And while I was sitting with him in the conference room, I said, "Do you want to see my portfolio?" I was all excited. And he's like, "No,
No.
I already knew I was going to hire you the minute I read your resume. Let's talk about salary, hours, all of that. The job is yours." So she was right there. It literally was handed to me. But what was really more interesting is landing that opportunity. I got all the free training I needed. I got certified as a hypnotherapist. I got training in stop smoking, weight loss, cancer, hypnobirthing, personal change. I got training in coaching. That's how I got my coaching training. And I did so good at coaching that they were even video recording me to show other people that worked for the same company. This is how she does it. And I got an award for it. Well, but here's the kicker is I ended up becoming friends with one of the founders that started it. It was two brothers that started the company. It was Michael and Patrick Porter. And Michael was my district manager, and he said, "I've met hundreds of hypnotherapists, but I've never met anyone like you." Because he knew I have a spiritual side that I'm an empath. I channel. I listen. If I got a message for you, I'm going to give you that message because they know you better than me. I'm just a messenger. And he said, it was like the cherry on top. And he said, "You're too good for this place. You really need to start your own business." And so in that time period, he literally gifted me like $500 worth of software to start my own online business, which was great. He said, "You have this NDA, you can't advertise hypnosis for so many years, but you can say meditation." Well, the real kicker was the day before Thanksgiving. And the day before Thanksgiving, I got in a disagreement with the receptionist, and she was the owner's
Oh
sister.
my
I
God.
know. And so I went to my manager and I said, "I think she's trying to get me fired." And she said, "Actually, she is. And here's your final check, Kerie." And I was like, "What? I'm 3 months of clients booked with you guys. I'm the best one here. What the hell is going on?" But she said this, "She's family and you're not. You've got to go." Yeah. And so day
That
before
was one of the brothers. One of the brothers said that.
that was my manager that said that.
But
She's family. The owner is her sister. No, you got to go. And so I went home, and instead of feeling sorry for myself, I prayed. I was like, "God, if this is my calling, if this is what everyone says I am meant to do, give me a sign that is so clear I can't mistake it, because I love what I do. I know I'm good at it." And so I called that woman up. Of course, she didn't answer. I left her a voicemail, and I thanked her for firing me because I told her one day I'm going to look back at this as a blessing in disguise. So thank you. Well, the very next day, a client that became a friend was already planning to come over for Thanksgiving. She had a card with her and she said, I feel so bad about what happened, and I have felt so strongly about you that I've been sitting on this nest egg and I want to give it to you. No strings attached. That's it.
Wait,
Yeah. He gave me a check for $10,000. Told me, Kerie, I want you to start your own business.
oh my God.
And when I shared this with Michael Porter, Michael said, well, of course, the universe had to kick you in the butt because you were too dedicated to willingly leave on your own. You would have stayed. I know it's
Right.
crazy, isn't it?
It's a similar to my story as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so I had all this support from people in the universe to start this business. I started Empowered Within. That was the first business that I started. And, then I woke up one day and I was told, you're going to write this book. Here's the table of contents. Sit down in front of your computer. We're going to just channel this book. And that book was called Affirming and Focusing on Living a Better Life. And it was so cool. It's all about manifesting. How do you manifest? I had a friend at the time that was a social worker. I sent her the first few chapters. She's actually in the book. And she was like, you're not a psychologist. You're not a psychiatrist, or you're not even a social worker or counselor. But all this stuff that you just wrote is in my continued education. How do you know this? And I'm just like, I just listen and I type what they say. And she was blown away. And so when it came to teaching Master the Upper Rooms, that was the technique I channeled and downloaded back in 2012. All I was told was, you want everyone to align with love. Everyone needs to align with that energy and frequency of love if you want to manifest what your heart desires. It's not what the ego wants. It's what does your heart want? Your authentic self, your spirit. What does it want? And how that all tied in was I used to, for 2 years, teach a law of attraction class, and I loved it. But then one year I said, forget this. I want a mastermind class. I want to do it. I don't want to just talk about it. And that's where the book actually kind of came from, because in 10 months, I manifested over 22 things my heart desired. It was pretty amazing. It was so incredible. The journey was so cool. And I talk about money, I talk about relationships, I talk about your health, I talk about your relationship with your body. How many people are so rigid and harsh to ourselves? We got to love ourselves. And you got to
Yeah.
ask yourself, like, whose voice is that? Is that my voice, or is that my mom's voice? Is my dad's voice? Is that an old boyfriend's voice? And do I want to listen to that voice still? Or do I want to just say, mute, goodbye, see you later? It's all
Yeah.
about loving you and accepting you. And the really cool thing, especially with women, when they learn to make peace with their body and stop living by the scale or counting calories or all that stuff, they have this huge revelation where it's kind of like, no, I love myself the way that I am. Yeah, I might have these few wrinkles and, a few extra skin or whatever, but I'm beautiful just the way I am. And whoever is going to find me is going to love that dimple on my butt or not. But the one I'm going to find is going to love that dimple and think it's the cutest darn thing in the world.
I love your energy, Carrie, and I think I love you already. There's so much. Well, I want to strip away everything that you just said right now and just get to the core of it. Okay, so now my next question, and you mentioned it earlier. What is Master the Upper Rooms technique? Hi, I'm Nick Nieras, your host of the Your Wordless podcast. Now, if this real raw stories hit home, don't wait. Please follow, like, and subscribe my Spotify and YouTube. For bite-sized inspirational reels, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Don't wait. Your transformation starts today. Thank you, and bye for now.
Okay. So what it's all about is all our thoughts and emotions have a vibrational set point. And when humanity first started, we were all stuck in 3D human consciousness because it's all about the self. It's all about survival of the fittest. But we don't live in a time, in an era where that serves a purpose anymore. It doesn't. We are evolving as a species, okay? So the range between 3D human consciousness is between the vibrational set point of 20 to 175, all right? So 20 has to do with shame, humiliation, okay? The next one up is 30. That's guilt. That's blame. How many people don't accept responsibility for their actions? Oh, I'm going to blame you. You watch kids. They're always blaming somebody else to get out of trouble. All right. The next one up from that is 50, which is despair. All right. And it has to do with hopelessness. And that's not a wonderful place to be either. Then 75 is grief and regret. Okay. You move up even higher. 100 is fear and anxiety. And a lot of people are run by fear. I mean, if you look about what's going on in the US right now, there's so much fear. Oh my gosh, fear about this, fear about that. It's creating a great separation. And then the next one up is desire, lust, cravings. And a lot of people say, well, why is that bad? Why it's bad is you're looking at a person from a superficial standpoint. You're objectifying them. They're an object, and no one wants to be treated like an object. All those dating apps now, it's all superficial. Do I like how you look? Swipe yes, swipe no. You want an emotional connection. You want someone to really love you for who you are inside, not for what this vessel looks like on the outside. Because I have literally met women that are flawless and beautiful on the outside, and they are screaming inside and they hate themselves. I mean, it's crazy. And then the next one up from that is anger. That's at 150. That's hate. Anger can be a positive thing. It can motivate you all the way up to 4D. Okay, and I'll get there. Anger can be a motivator, or anger can be all self-consuming, and it can just eat you alive. Now, the next one up, the final one is 175, and that's pride. Okay, there's nothing wrong with a healthy sense of pride, but it's where you immediately judge people. You immediately size them up. You're very rigid. You're very black and white in your thinking. It's my way or the highway. That's where vanity lives. Okay, vanity lives there. Greed lives there. Okay, and it's because people have that mindset. Well, you need to do this to be happy in life. You need to make this amount of money to live in life. That's not true. It's not. So 40 human consciousness to me is when we start to adult and become mature. So in that range is between 200 to 500. And the very first one is courage. You have to line up with courage to find your voice, to set healthy boundaries, to speak your truth, to be permitting and feasible and flexible to see both sides of the equation. It's no longer black and white. There is a gray area, and you can agree to disagree. The next step up is neutrality, and that's what I call baseline. Baseline is courage and neutrality. That's between 200 to 250. And that is where you are just making peace with what is. Because a lot of people think, well, I have to change this. I have to fix this. Stop trying to fix it. Can't you just accept yourself as being perfectly imperfect?
Yeah.
You know, really. And we've seen people, especially athletes, that we knew they were going to be a shining star and then they blow out their knee, or they had this sports injury and now they can't play football anymore, or basketball. But they jump up to courage and they find a way to be happy and content in life, where I'm going to coach football. I'm going to coach Little League. I'm going to be a PE teacher. I'm going to be a sports coach. And really, when they do that, they're embracing their authentic self. Okay. So baseline to me is you want to stay there and you want to master it for 30 days because you're no longer stuck in the rigid ways of thinking. You really are being flexible and feasible, more with yourself and with other people. So when you move on up, it moves up to optimism. It moves up to what are your intentions? What are your intentions? Because intentions are everything. And then it's being hopeful also and being inspiring because we love inspiring people. You move up even higher to 350, that's forgiveness and acceptance. And we have seen as a society that shift happen, especially around people that are gay. Because back in the day, 50 years ago, it was taboo. You couldn't talk about it. You couldn't come from the closet. If you did, my gosh. Yeah. And so that's a beautiful thing. Society has evolved their consciousness to embrace homosexuality, gay marriage, gay couples, and we celebrate it. And to me, that's a beautiful thing we're doing for people. You go up even higher into 400, and that's wisdom and reasoning and understanding. That's where compassion is. All right. And so I like to say it, those are the ranges and where we're becoming adults. We're actually, because you can be an adult physically in your body, but still a child in your head. You know that. We've met people like that. They haven't matured yet. And so 4D human consciousness is about love, acceptance, forgiveness, compassion. And when I say love, I mean unconditional love. Because anyone stuck in 3D human consciousness, it is conditional. Well, if you don't do this for me, I'm not going to love you. You don't do this for me, I'm not going to like you. And no one likes to be treated that way. And all kids, all children, and this will tell you what kind of home you were brought up in. If you were a child and you broke something by accident, if your parent or upbringer was from 4D human consciousness, they would say, sweetie, it's okay. Accidents happen. I know you didn't do it on purpose. I forgive you. I love you. We can either get a new one or it's okay. We can replace it or, this happens. And they're nice to that child. If that parent was stuck in 3D human consciousness, what are they going to do? They're going to yell at you. They're going to get angry at you. They're going to shame you. They're going to make you feel even worse about yourself. And that's the sad part, is that's where those core wounds happen. I'm not good enough. I'm unimportant. I'm unworthy. I'm not lovable. I
That's
need to be
right.
invisible. My opinion doesn't matter. And we carry those wounds and those scars into our adulthood life, and it impacts every area. Our money, our relationships, our career, our friendships, all of it. And so that's why it's so important to explore those areas, I say, of 4D human consciousness, not just for yourself, but for other people. Because everyone wants to be accepted. Everyone wants to have a voice, but also really be heard. Because a lot of times people are talking and they're thinking about, well, what I'm going to say this next. And they're not listening.
Yes.
Yeah.
I could sit here and just listen to you talk like for hours, Kerie. I love it.
And this has been scientifically proven. This was a really cool thing because when I learned this technique and I was being guided, no, you're going to coach this to everybody. I said, okay, I'll start coaching it. And when I did, the results were phenomenal. I mean, just mind blowing how people can manifest things, because the sweet spot is 5D human consciousness. That ranges from 500 to love, up into joy, up into bliss, and up into oneness. And that's the sweet spot. That is where you line with our creator and everything in the universe and you let it unfold. And so how this has been scientifically proven is, I think it's Dr. David Hawkins. He wrote this book called Power versus Force. And it is all about, he did the clinical studies of how our thoughts and emotions do have an energetic and vibrational set point. And I tried to reach out to the guy because I wanted to talk to him and go, do you know what you discovered? But he died. He literally died that same year I channeled that information. And so I never got to talk to him. And not until last year was I had another huge spiritual awakening. It comes, it comes in waves, as you know. It doesn't just happen, boom, all at once. They give it to you with a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. But I literally was told, no, we want you now to teach this to the world. We want you to talk about this because humanity is ready for this now. And so that's
Wow.
why I started Master the Upper Rooms, the website, the podcast, and that's why I'm talking to you right now, because I'm the messenger and they're like, hey, we want you to do this. And when I talk to, and everyone I talk to, they're all like, oh my God, that makes sense. I get it. It's not that hard because we hear people say, well, think positive, raise your vibration, you got to do this. But there's certain steps you have to take. And if you don't tell them the steps or show them the steps, it's so confusing. And the truth is, you need to master each step as you go with all the areas of your life where you got to have patience with you, patience with your money, patience with your relationships, with your career. It doesn't have to be so rigid and black and white. You got to look at every area of your life. And when you get triggered, that is a sign, actually a gift from the universe to go within and say, hey, why did I get triggered? Why is this bugging me? Because you want to respond instead of react. Because we look foolish when we, get all huffy and mad and stuff. People are like, you get what I mean. You'd
Mm-hmm.
rather be calm and have your demeanor. And sometimes, yes, silence is golden. Sometimes you can just be like, he's just being an asshole. That's just who he is. And you just move on.
Yeah.
Instead of taking it personal and thinking, oh, I'm flawed, I'm broken, I'm defective. No, there are some people out there that are real jerks. And that's okay. That's where they're at. That's how what you don't, you can still love them and not like them. What you don't like is their personality, their behaviors, the way they talk to you, their mannerism. You can love them. You just don't like the stuff they do. And a lot of people have a hard time with that concept or that idea. They think, no, 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 you have to either love them or hate them. There's no in between. And I'm like, dude, get over it.
Yeah. That's the absolute correct term. Get over it. It's not just black and white. There's so many nuances to it, right? And
Yes.
and you mentioned, Carrie, we could be here like an hour or 2 or 3 hours even, because this is the stuff that I love doing. Like I had my own, I would say, spiritual awakening as well a few years back, and still, it's like, okay, how am I relating to whatever that you said? It's the signs and synchronicities. Prior to the interview, we already mentioned about Oregon, and then about your job. I also I had my divorce back in 2019, and I thought that, okay, it wasn't, the love department wasn't for me. And then so I focus on work because work has always been my forte. So I've always been the overachieving kid. So work is like, okay, I'm gonna kill this, since nobody is it's like I'm not that lucky in loves. And then a friend of mine, because at the time a friend of mine asked me to meet another friend who practiced divination through tarot. So he was like, he only said to me one thing. Yeah, he said a bunch of things about, okay, what is this? Where are you gonna be next? But he said to me, Nick, you need to love yourself.
Yep.
I didn't understand what he meant. You need to love yourself. Like, what do you mean? I go to massages. I treat myself. But then he said, yeah, Nick, but you need to love yourself. He said it 3 times. And that stuck with me for, I think, 4 years until I really understood the meaning of loving myself unconditionally. So after that, COVID happened and the working corporate was no longer working for me. I think I had a burnout because I've been working since I was 19. So it was like, okay, chasing until my divorce.
Yeah.
And then again, okay, work. I was trying to go so hard against the grain and to prove to the world that, okay, I can do this.
Right.
And then I had the awakening, I would say, and everything came crumbling down. I had to take sabbatical and then really think about what I want to do. So I came across this course also by Marissa Pure, RTT, which is hypnotherapy.
Yeah.
The first time I saw it, I was like, oh, what is it? This is nice, because I came across her speech and then at Mind Valley. And then I was like, okay. And then I looked it up. I was like, oh my God, I was always been in corporate, accountant, and then changing my career. What would my family think of me? What would the society think of me? I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then the course was expensive. Okay,
Yeah.
I think it was $8,000 at the time. I'm like,
Right.
and yeah. And then I was like, how am I gonna pay for this if I'm not even happy at my job? What if I get fired? See, I think I manifested it, but at the same time, it was for my highest good, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
So I stuck to it, and then until the job came, it was so unbearable that I had to take sabbatical. And I was like, okay, how am I gonna feed myself? How am I gonna pay for my bills? So I was in that fear mindset, like that lack mindset. So I got
Yeah.
3 jobs. I felt worthless, Carrie, because after the relationship and then the job, I felt worthless. But then I prayed, but it was more on force. I prayed. I got 3 offers, and then I took one with the highest pay. Fine. But then when I joined, it was completely new, but I knew that I was not gonna stay there for long.
Yeah.
And it was like an incubation period for me to like really think about what I want to do next. Until this year, March, my boss finally came to me and said, okay, Nick, the company's restructuring and we have to vacate you from your role. Your role is no longer, it's going to be evolving to something else, and it's going to be technical. And I think you're more suited, given your personality and your skill set, you're more suited to be with, people, connecting with people and whatnot. So I took that as a side. Of course, I was sad, like, okay. But then this time I wasn't fighting the universe anymore.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, and here I am, to be honest. And I've been in KL, so I'm in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, about 15 years now. I came to study and work and whatnot. So now I've decided to funny enough. Okay, now this is my story. Last year I started my podcasting because I wanted to practice what is it like talking to clients before them start paying me, because I was feeling, am I worthy enough to receive payments? Like, why would people listen to me, right? So and I found the love of talking to people. Like right now I'm here after 150 guests. I love it. And I'm so, and I oh yeah, by the way, I took up the course. Even though the price has now gone up to $10,000, I still took it up because I said, you know what, I'm not resonating to corporate anymore, I think, at this point. And uh and at the time, so in June, I started to do podcasting. It was my first solo, and then in August I took up my first guest through Podmatch. And then I loved it. And then I said it to myself. And most of the guests, because Podmatch is from the US, right? And I've always wanted
Yeah.
to go to the US since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it's like, I was like, people are connecting. Like, people can understand me. I'm not that foreign, even though I'm from Asia. So, and I think all the exposure to English television show, American television show, it's like, okay, it's paying off for me now. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to go to the States. Give me 1 year, September. That was last year. I think I'm gonna, cause I looked up the previous job that I had. They had a branch in Costa Mesa, California. So I was thinking to
Nice.
my head, okay, yeah. I was like, okay, maybe this is my route. This is the way I should, you know, be nice to my boss and see if I can relocate that side. And then, um, the whole thing happened. I think I wasn't aligned with where the company was going, but I kept it in my heart that okay, I still want to go. So I stopped the job. The job I was let go, but then I said, okay, there goes mine. Maybe it wasn't meant. But then in February, one of my guests said to me that, hey, I'm working in a local broadcasting station, but I'm thinking of launching my own show, and I think it'd be a great fit for a co-host. I'm like, okay, because going to the States would require every Malaysian to have a visa, and that visa is quite lengthy. So I'm like, okay, how am I gonna do this? Fast forward, I got it. It was so smooth that
Yep.
yeah, and I said, okay, this could be something because you know, American currency to Malaysian ringgit, it's like it's 4 times. So there's no way in a logical world that I should be spending on something when I don't have a job. But then I said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna tell mine. So I asked for help from my dad and whatnot, and my some of my own savings. I made it, Carrie. I just came back from the States 2 weeks ago.
Right on.
I was there for 3 weeks, and I think I told myself like I need to make a decision. A lot of things hinges on that trip. And as we speak, I'm actually moving out from this place from Kuala Lumpur after 15 years. I'm going back to my parents. And then I said to myself, okay, next year I'm gonna be in the States. I'm gonna relocate there. So yeah, I have made it a point, and I'm telling myself that okay, I said for me to move on. So many things I thought that I would be here for the rest of my life. I think I found my time for me to move. So yeah,
You got to listen to it because the thing is we can talk ourselves out of it and we can fight it. We can disagree with it. We can question it. And like you said, it's all that fear mindset. And that fear mindset really does exist in the 3D human consciousness range, and it doesn't serve us. It's kind of like that inner critic that a lot of, when I was giving an example about women, when they finally make peace with their body, it's like they're muting that inner critic and saying, you know what, I'm tired of it. I don't want to listen to that anymore. I don't want to think that way about me anymore. I'm going to make peace with myself. And
yeah.
so the same thing lines up, with work, with career is what does my heart really want? What's really calling me? And I loved it how you said, what's my family going to think? What's society going to think? This is your life. Hopefully, they support you with your dreams and where you're being called to go. But the real thing a lot of people have to realize is this is my life. This is my opportunity, because the worst thing is having regrets. No one wants to be stuck in regrets.
And I love
I
when you
look at
said
it, at least you try. At least you try. Because if you don't try, you're never
exactly.
going to know.
Yeah. And now I want to ask because you said that you receive messages. So what is it like channeling from higher vibrational beings?
It is exhilarating and exhausting at the same time. It can be rather confusing. Like today, there's someone I met, on Podmatch, and she actually was the one that said, hey, I want to do a trade with you. I'd really like you to read me and I want to experience it with you. And I said, okay, I'll trade with you too. Awesome. So today was my day to do what I do with her. And I had a really uncomfortable situation where she was talking about how she has a sore throat and she realizes that spirit is telling her to slow down and take it easy. We're kind of fine tuning you, raising you up. And when I tapped into that, I said, ooh, I don't know why I keep hearing this, but I keep hearing that in a past you were in a chokehold. And I see literally like a person's face and these hands are wrapped around their neck. They're stuck in this and they can't speak their voice. And what
Oh
they're
my God,
doing,
I just had chills.
literally, and she literally said to me, "Oh my God, yes. There was a time in my life where someone literally had me in a chokehold for 9 days, 9 days." And I was like, "What?" And that's that's the biggest thing I've had to learn is they will show me things or tell me things that I should know nothing about. And I listen to it and I trust it and I share it. This is what they're showing me. This is what they're saying to me. And it's beautiful when they validate, when the person actually validates, yes, you were right about this. Yes, you are correct about this. And that's the difference I would have to say is a lot of times when people go to a psychic, it almost feels like they're fishing, 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 trying to get stuff. But this is something totally different. It's like I can't tell you like who your husband is or this and that. I just read what's stuck in your energy, what's stuck in your vibration. I tell you what's holding you back. And a lot of people have kind of, said, well, why do you get to do this? And I tell them because I'm here to be of service. I'm here not to judge you. I'm here to hold your hand and accept you and be your friend. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to make you feel bad about yourself or make you have regrets. I'm here to just take my flashlight, because that's my nickname, the pinhole of light. I'm going to just put my flashlight into your darkness, your shadows, and tell you what I see and what needs to happen, what needs to shift. And I think it's amazing. I worked with a lady today, and it was so hard when I worked with one lady today, where I said, because she's got Crohn's disease, she has lots of health issues, and I said, this is so hard for me to say to you, but you need to step down off your soapbox because you are filled with rage. You hate your body. You hate your life. You hate aging. And you've got to stop and make peace with it all because you're destroying yourself from the inside out. And the woman said, yep, you nailed me to a T. And I said, and you want to be loved unconditionally. So you set yourself, it was hard to have this conversation. I'm like, you use your husband to validate that worthiness that's lacking inside. Because with all your illnesses, he then runs to your side and is like, oh, how can I help you? How can I help you? How can I help you? He cancels his whole weekend, his whole vacation to meet your needs. And that's not fair to him. You need, like you said, you need to love yourself. You need to stop hating yourself. And when you do, when you start making peace with your body, your reality is going to change. And and literally I came in with a cane. And I said, I literally see you taking this and beating yourself with it. You're so mad at yourself. And she said, I've actually done that. Yeah. And it's hard. I got to tell you, sometimes doing what I do, it's not easy because I will see the ugly truth. But I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to make you feel bad about yourself. I'm here to say, you know what? You got to love you, like that person said, no, Nicolette, you got to love yourself. Oh, I give myself massages. I do this. No, that's skimming the surface. You got to go deeper. You got to love yourself. What are you not doing that you really need to do? Like what's your heart telling you? And so it's interesting. I look at it as what I do is I'm just here as a messenger to give anyone a sense of relief wherever you're at. If you're stuck in an area, I'll tell you're stuck. Here's a good example. There was one woman, and I see you smiling because you might want to do a trade with me in this area.
Exactly. No, that just waiting for you to. I'm just waiting for you to.
You just say that, throw it out there. So I just posted a podcast recently about how to activate the magic within you and how to activate it. And it's only like 7-minute podcast, but it's a testimonial story about a woman that I worked with that wanted to manifest a husband. And I helped her with that. She literally lined up, met her husband. But then
Why are you hitting all the tea,
I
Kerie?
know. I knew that. It's like, no, she wants that. No, I already knew it before I even said it. I'm like, oh no, she's going to want it.
And then,
They're chatting away with me. So just bear with me. So for the last year and a half, they were trying to have a baby, and they were doing it all from 3D human consciousness because it was force. Sex became a job. They weren't making love anymore. They were stuck in frustration. What's wrong with me? I got to get my sperm count tested. He was fine. She was fine. And it took her a year and a half to finally come to me and say, Kerie, I am so stuck. We want to have a baby, and I don't even know if it's possible. And so I told her, this is what you're doing wrong, your mindset, all of that. It's okay. But what I'm going to do is we're going to just bulldozer all that crap, okay? Past is in the past. We're going to fill your womb with all this love and joy and bliss. And you're going to have a conversation with that baby. And that's where the 5D is, the sweet spot. Love, joy, bliss. And you're going to connect to that baby, and you're going to talk to it, and you're going to tell it, I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive you. I'm going to now make love. And when I do, if you're ready to come in, I'm ready for you as a mom, whenever you're ready. Well, I recorded it because that's important to me, is I want you to, when I coach you, you consciously get it, but I want your subconscious to get it. I want it back there, that I deserve this. I am worthy of this. Okay. That's why cleaning the slate and reinforcing that. Well, long story short, 30 days later, after listening to that recording, she's pregnant. She's now probably 15 weeks pregnant, and she's expecting a baby girl in April. I didn't do it. She did it because she did the work. She listened. She put the intention. She put the focus. She connected with that baby, and the baby said, okay, I'm here. I'm ready. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh. But we all have that ability, that power, that magic within us. We just got to leave all the garbage down below where it's supposed to be. We don't need to carry that up here. So you want me to work with you to manifest your husband and all that? Yeah, let's do it, girlfriend.
well, how should we do that?
Well, we're not going to do it on your podcast right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Kerie is like, oh my God, Kerie, I now have a friend in Oregon. I'm gonna drag my friend. I'm like, okay, so we are definitely gonna exchange contacts. We are after this. Wow. Okay, you saw right through me. Okay. Okay. Let's finish this because
Okay.
I'm mindful of the time as well. Why don't you want to spiritually awaken too quickly? Becoming a podcast host was a natural extension of my second act. And after spending 15 years in the corporate world, I've transitioned to helping individuals overcome challenges like navigating tough relationships, career burnout, and aligning their mission with their soul's calling. By certifying as an RTT hypnotherapist and a lifestyle coach, I've made it my mission to empower people to recreate the life they deserve and building a supportive community through my podcast. Now, let me ask, are you facing challenges like struggling to reprogram your mind to attract wealth, weight issues that feel like a constant yo-yo, insomnia or restless nights from daily worries, or just a lack of confidence in public speaking? If the answer is yes, visit www.thenickyarsholisticlifestyle.com and grab a free hypnosis audio of these common struggles. It's a sneak peek into how my coaching works. Are you feeling shy? Don't be, because I'm as real as it gets. Let's connect on Instagram and LinkedIn and start your transformation today.
Oh, good question. You will get unmoored. You will get so confused. People will think you're crazy. No, I'm serious. I'm dead serious. Because when I had my spiritual awakening and I told people what was going on, they thought I was crazy. They thought I lost it. And I was seriously having direct communication. This is going to sound crazy to some people, but specifically with God. And I have never read the Bible. I've never read any of it. I don't want to. And when I talk to my brother, who's a strict Christian, knows the Bible inside and out, and I told him, I'm being told this, and I'm being told that, and I'm being shown this. I don't get what this is. He was like, my God, how do you know that? And he even asked me about Master the Upper Rooms. And I said to him, well, what I'm told is it's a roadmap to the kingdom of heaven. When you line up with love, you line up with your creator. And that can scare some people hearing that and having someone say that. When I talked about this to someone in my spiritual community, I got banned from my spiritual community. They were like, we don't like you talking about religion. We don't like you talking about the kingdom of heaven. We don't like you even saying the word God. And I'm like, if I can't say I'm not religious, but I believe in God. If I can't say that, then you're not accepting me. You're stuck in 3D mentality. It's like a lot of people can pretend to be spiritual or pretend to be, self-righteous and all religious, but God is love. The universe is love. Everything is love. There should be no hoops you have to jump through or rigid beliefs or strictness or any of that. Whatever path a person takes to lead them to being spiritually awakened or enlightened or to have their heart filled with love, that's their journey. It doesn't have to be you have to be a Christian, you have to be a Catholic, you have to be Jewish, you have to be a Buddhist, whatever. It all lines up to the same thing. It's love. It's really it's love. And I think that's where a lot of people get stuck is they think, well, the path to enlightenment is I have to do this. It's so rigid. But you don't, because your path might not align with my path, but we still ended up there. And that's all that matters. It's love.
Hearing you study all of this, I don't know why, but I'm feeling like this heaviness in my head. Like I slept well last night. I think I did. I slept early, and then whenever I talk about spirituality and all this, I become sometimes exhausted.
Yes.
Why is that?
Because you're getting a upgrade. Think about it this way is your energy was really dense down here and you're moving up. So it's kind of like you're detoxing. When we release stuff that's stuck within us, you then might get like the woman, how she was getting a sore throat. Well, that sore throat was a result of clearing all that crap out. The sore throat's going to go away, but that energy that was trapped here is now being dispersed or released. And it can cause physical side effects. You could get a headache. You could feel the need to drink a lot more water. Oh my God, I have to drink more water. You could be a lot more tired and exhausting because your body is upgrading. It's like that example when people hear high sound, pitch, tone buzzing in their ear. Some people say, well, that's someone thinking about you, but it's also you getting a vibrational uplift. It could be that as well. You're just raising your frequency up so you can align to that new set point. So if you were stuck in pride and now you're mastering baseline and courage, that area there of neutrality, you might be more tired than usual. You might decide, you know what? I'm not going to watch TV tonight. I'm just going to take a hot bath and soak and read a book. You start to change little things about you. Let's say you used to watch something, but now it doesn't resonate with you anymore. It doesn't align with you anymore. It could be the same with music. You used to like a certain style of music. Now it doesn't resonate with you anymore. You're listening to something else. You're being guided or drawn to something different. Make sense?
Okay. So much.
Okay.
Okay. So many questions. Okay, but I'm gonna make this as fast as I can. What is the magic in manifesting your heart's desires?
Oh, that's all 5D human consciousness. That is love, joy, bliss. pure consciousness. It is oneness. It's where you leave everything that's 3D go. You've literally embraced acceptance and wisdom. You've set your intention. You had the courage to do it, and you're clearly focusing on it. And that's all you do. You just really focus on what it is you want to manifest. So a good example, and I'll try to make this really quick, is when it ever comes to money, I never, ever focus on money. I focus on what the money's going to give me. So for example, there was and I put it in my book, Affirming and Focusing on Living a Better Life. You can actually find it on my website, Empowered Within, under free stuff. It is free. I actually offer it for free you can get the ebook. So there's a story in there where my daughter wanted a Wii. She really wanted a Wii back then. And my brother and I knew my mom had a Wii. She never used it at all. It was just sitting there gathering dust. I mean, not once did she use it. And we tried asking her, hey, Kerie's daughter's, going to have a birthday soon. Would you be willing to give this to her? Because she really wants it. And my mom was like, no. I know I'm going to need it once. She was stuck in 3D human consciousness. No. I need to hold on to this. I'm going to use it one day. I'm going to use it. We all knew she was not going to use it. She never did. She's passed. She never did. And so
she never did.
She never did. Honestly, she never did. And so I put out in the universe, okay, I'm going to manifest this week. And so I visualized in my mind my kids playing the Wii and then laughing with their friends and joyful, screaming when they run away from monsters, and just all the happiness and joy of playing the Wii. Complete love, complete bliss. And I kept saying over and over in my mind, my kids love their Wii. This is the best Wii, the best Wii. It has all the best games. They love their Wii. And I was like, thank you. And I let it go. And I looked at the price of buying a Wii and stuff. And at the time, it was about, if I was going to get it refurbished, it was going to be about $100. But then the games, oh my God, the games are so expensive. And I never tell anybody what I'm doing, anybody. And so I had $100 in my wallet and I was holding on to it. And the universe knew what my timeline was because I wanted to get this for my daughter before her birthday. And one day I pick up my computer tech guy and he has his paper bag and he gets in my car and I said, what's that? And he said, well, my mom and I were wondering if you wanted to buy this. And I'm like, what is it? And he said, it's a Wii. And I'm like, what? Yeah, it's a Wii. I don't use it anymore. I use this other gaming system, but no, you're going to love this. And he had something this size, an external hard drive. And he said, and I loaded 30 games on there for you. 30 games. And I want to know if you want to buy it for I think it was like $60 or something. The Wii and all the games. Do you want to buy it? And I looked at the dude and I said, I can't buy it for $60. I'll buy it for $100. And let me explain. Because I looked at it as you're giving me a gift of like 1,300, over $1,000 worth of games. You're giving me for free. And I said to him, I've been putting out there, manifesting in the universe that I want this Wii. I didn't tell you. You just brought it to me. You're offering it to me for $60. And I know you need the money. So let's make a deal. I'll buy it for $100. And yeah. And he was just like, oh my gosh. But yet I have manifested a house where I didn't have the money for the deposit. And the money showed up. Because I focused on the joy of moving into this new house. And I used U-Haul trucks, any kind of moving truck, as a confirmation. Told the universe, I'm going to use these as a confirmation. So every time I saw a moving truck, I would stop in my mind and go, I'm moving. I'm so happy to move in my new house. And I did. I had an opportunity where someone literally handed me an envelope. Could you use this? And it was like $1,500. And I was like,
Well,
There's so
wait.
many stories. But yeah, there's so it blows people's minds, but we are so powerful. We are. There's so much potential within all of us. I mean, there was one woman that I coached in the beginning of learning this technique. She's actually on the Gaia channel. She's worked with royalty and everything. She created an invention and she wanted to attract an investor. And I worked with her on changing her mindset, aligning to love, see him shaking your hand, you write the contract, all of that. Well, the guy ended up in 18 months giving her $9.8 million. She lined up to that. Pretty amazing.
I could really, yeah. There's so many things in my life that I need to sell my car. And
And so you visualize selling your car to the most perfect person and they're handing you the money and you're joyful and you're happy. You can literally line up to that. Joy, bliss, love. Oh my God, I'm so happy I sold my car. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for buying my car. And then giving you the money that you need. Thank you. Yeah. You can do it, girlfriend. I know you can.
I'm gonna do that right after this, and then every day, and I give you updates.
Yes. And if you know the kind of car, and that you can say to the universe, what would be the next best form of transportation for me? Show me. And if they don't have anything to show you, then it's like, okay, then for a while, I guess I'm not going to need a car because the universe is going to take care of me. And that's a hard concept for a lot of people to grasp, that the universe loves and adores you and will take care of you.
I'm gonna have a conversation with the universe right after this call.
You're right.
So, Kerie, what are you working on currently?
I'm currently working on a new blog post that they chatted with me for hours one day trying to go to sleep. I was downloading. They're like, why am I like this? And it's me breaking down, the first part of pride. And you said some of it. Oh, it's like we have this mindset that it has to be this way. I have to prove myself. I have to chase this dream. And you do get burnt out because you're chasing the wrong dream. It's that 3D mentality dream. It's not, what does my heart want? What does my soul want? Because you literally are, all of us, we are a spiritual being having a human experience. And all of the things that we're experiencing within our consciousness, when we die, all that consciousness goes into the spirit. And then that spirit just finds a new vessel to go into. And then there'll be a whole new consciousness. But the truth is, if we perish and still have regrets, or we've hurt someone, or hated someone, or did this, you didn't learn that lesson. That's where generational trauma comes from. They say you reap what you sow. If you didn't learn it in this lifetime, you're going to carry it into the next. So do yourself a favor and learn the lessons you want to learn in this life and discover your authentic self. Stop being apologetic. You want to be unapologetic. You want to love you and honor you and cherish you and find someone that sees all that magic within you and even your scars and flaws and says, hey, I still love you. You're perfectly imperfect. I love that dimple on your butt.
Oh, you always bring that up for context and just to seal everything up. I love it.
I try to throw humor in because we're so darn serious sometimes. Like, stop it. Let's laugh. Let's have fun.
Oh my God, Kerie, you are my new best friend in Oregon. Okay, now we're gonna pivot to a self-worth question. So the question for you, Kerie, many people compare themselves to others in the age of social media, leading to feelings of inadequacy. How can individuals cultivate a healthy self-image in the age of constant comparison?
One, you got to stop comparing yourself because there's so many filters out there that will make you look skinnier, make you appear to look this way or that. And stop taking. Here's a good example. My son has cerebral palsy and spastic leg disease. So he wears leg braces and he has a disability support worker. And this guy went to Cancun and took all these fabulous pictures, smiling, smiling. I was so excited when he came back. I was like, oh my God, you had the most amazing trip. And he said, no, I hated it every single time. My mom slipped the first night and fractured
But
her
then
hip.
you showed me a different thing.
Yes. And I said, stop being fake. Stop being superficial. You didn't have to post those pictures of you smiling. You could take pictures of the scenery, but it was all about trying to impress other people. No, stop trying to impress other people. I got to a point where I just kind of stepped away a lot from social media because I wanted to see something that was authentic. I want authentic people, authentic conversations, authentic images, and people that are trying to chase this dream of how many likes I get. I mean, seriously, we have what they call an anxious generation right now because all these young teens are comparing themselves to other ones and they're hurting themselves inside. They really are. So for me, it would just be put that phone away and make deep emotional connections with other people. Really connect with other people and have fun and enjoy life. Just put your phone down. Put it down. It doesn't have to define you because they have all these algorithms that they talk about that try to suck you in to spend more time on your phone. And then hours can pass and you're just like, what happened? You're well. And yes, and that's my approach is I look at it as
You're
I'm
so
people's
fun.
friend.
You're
I'm
welcome.
yeah, I'm here to be friends with people. I'm not here to I mean, that's what people need is they want someone to be their friend. And that's the hard part is a lot of people think, well, when I go to therapy, they're going to be all strict and this and that. No, we can sit here and we can just be friends and talk like friends and get to know each other. It doesn't have to be scary. And I can make you laugh.
Yeah, I am. I'm enjoying this very much. What is your heart's greatest wish?
My heart's greatest wish is to see, I don't know if I'm going to see it in this lifetime, but I would love it if eventually humanity evolved to where we weren't stuck in 3D human consciousness, that we were in at least in the 4D and eventually in the 5, because they do talk about ascension. Okay. And that is happening whether people like it or not. We as a species are on that path. And there will be people that will be kicking and screaming and want to stay in the old ways. And that doesn't serve us anymore. And so my heart would love to see humanity and the way we raise children, especially up in those higher rooms, because that's where we're going to thrive. I mean, imagine a world where there was no more war, no more hatred, no more violence, crimes, no more feeling the need that I have to steal or I have to rob or I have to do this. It's where we all get along. We can all agree to disagree. We can find positive, healthy solutions instead of, well, you don't agree with me? I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to invade your country. I'm going to take over this and that. So rigid. It doesn't have to be that way. We can rise above it. That's really what my heart desires and would love for all of humanity to have. That's a gift. You're giving yourself and everyone, I think, wants the same exact thing. I don't think there's one I mean, I would hope. That's what my heart desires.
Beautiful. I love you. What keeps you up at night? Do you have
Them
anything that keeps you
chatting
up
with
at night?
me. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It for real. No, for real. I'll lie there and I'll be ready to go to sleep. And then it's like, oh, we're talking about this, talking about that. It's fascinating. I love it. But sometimes I have to set boundaries with them and say, oh, hey, please, I mean, because I don't want to write it down. Please help me remember it the next day, please. Because some of the stuff is like so juicy. I remember one time I was lying in bed and I was told, do you know that you humans create narcissistic people? And I was like, what? And I fact checked it. And they told me, fact check it. And when I talked to my son's mental health professional provider, I said, is it true that we humans create narcissistic people? And the doctor said, bingo. How did you know? And I wasn't going to be like, someone up there told me. He'll be like, you're
Uh-huh.
crazy. Okay, let me lock you up. No. And I love, when I question something, I always fact check. And the beautiful thing is when I fact check, it just blows my mind every single time. And I look at it as all of that does line into Master the Upper Rooms, because as you know, we have a mental health crisis going on in our world. More anxiety, more depression, homelessness, suicidal, all that, addictions. Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow. Okay. We have to. Yeah, we have
Have I
to.
blown your brain enough?
Yeah. After this, we're gonna talk for a bit, and then I'm gonna lie down there on my couch because I can see it's like. Okay, Kerie, if you could create a quote right now for you to leave to the audience listening and the world as your legacy, what would it be?
The quote would be, labels are for jars, not people. It's pretty deep, right?
It is. It's like every sentence that you say after the other, it's like you're speaking right now, my head is like it's so heavy that I need to lie down because after this I was thinking about okay, getting to a cafe and then doing the work, pushing my content out. I don't think I'm gonna do that until the afternoon. Okay, so how can people reach out to you and experience this as what I'm experiencing right now?
Okay. You can email me. My email is empoweredwithin@protonmail.com. You can find me on Empowered Within. That's one of my websites. Or you can find me also on Master the Upper Rooms. And I offer coaching. I offer custom recordings. I even offer now, I'll do a reading for you. I'll read you and I'll tell you what I get. I'll channel. I'll tell you what I get. You want to manifest something, I will tell you why it hasn't been working and how to go about it and make it work. So I'm very flexible with what's going to work for you, what's going to work for your budget. And because you're important, because
Kerie is already
you're important.
telling everything that the questions that I have. It's written here, and you're just spitting it out to me. I guess you read. You
I
have
do.
been
It doesn't matter where you live. I can read you. I mean, seriously, the woman I talked to
like
today on
like
the
right now. I'm pretty sure you're also reading me right now, right?
yes. Well, about the husband thing, that was I was just like, woo, woo, husband, husband, husband. I'm like, you're just like falling off the couch.
Oh my God! So the people that's gonna be listening to this are like, oh, Nick is okay. So let's see which season she's gonna manifest a husband. Or it's probably there. It's just that she's too blind to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. I am under my, I know, I see this. I'm like,
I better close this off. For our listeners, there you have it, everyone. You heard it straight from the source, Kerie Logan. Before we wrap up, Kerie, I'd like to thank you personally for the incredible work you're doing for the world. Despite the challenges, you continue to push forward, paving the way for those that will follow in your footsteps. Your work and dedication is truly inspiring. And for our listeners, this has been the podcast with that provocatively titled show, You're Worthless. Read that again, the juxtaposition of your very soul. If you've ever found yourself feeling worthless, you're not alone. But more importantly, ask yourself a deeper question. If I'm worthless, then why am I here? The truth is, your soul chose to be here energetically, coming all the way from the ethers. And for that reason alone, you are worthy and you are enough. And with that, this is Kerie Logan, our guest of the day, and I'm Nick Nieras, your host, signing off. Thank you so much, Kerie, for your time.
thank you. And thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.